What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, guys. Yes, it is. We are here, guys. Today, we're starting it off. It's a triple header here on Tino's Time. We're here first to talk about football. We're talking about week 7 of the fantasy football season, or getting ready to talk about the fantasy football season week 7. We're going to recap week 6. Tonight, we got Dynamite, Aew Dynamite on a special Tuesday night. We got NXT Black and Gold. Which team are you? Are you watching NXT? Or are you watching AEW? And then, guys, after Dynamite and NXT goes off air, we got to come back here on Tino's Time, and we got to talk about the MLB playoffs. It's championship series time. We're going to find out who the final 4 teams are when the Cleveland Guardians and the New York Yankees face each other, starting off at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll know by the time we go on air for Dynamite and NXT who's the final 4, guys. So let's start it off with football first, guys. It's a good week. It's a big week here on Tino's Time. It's a big day. We'll be here 3 times. We'll be live right now, 6:45 tonight, and then 9:45 after, an hour after NXT and Dynamite. So let's not waste any more time, guys, and let's talk about this fantasy football week, because it was the wildest week of the. I thought last week was crazy. This week was even crazier, guys. I have no idea. I thought I knew what I was talking about when I said that I knew fantasy football, but I have no idea. Any given Sunday, you don't know what's going to happen. And I'll tell you what, though. I said this on my bold predictions last week, and I did not think it was really going to happen. But, guys, the New York Jets came out and they defeated the Green Bay Packers. They made Aaron Rodgers and the Packers look like children. I don't know what the hell was going on. The Giants are 5-1. Were we really going to get a Jets and Giants Super Bowl? I don't know. Jonathan Taylor was out. Nyheim Hines was out. If you guys were able to pick up at last minute, Deon Jackson, he went out and scored 28 fantasy points. He looked like little Austin Eckler out there. He was catching balls left and right like Darren Sproles. Guys, who would thought we would have been starting the third string running back on the Colts, and he'd be scoring more points than guys like Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Jeff Wilson Jr., guys that we've started all year long. That's what I call fantasy football, guys. But now that we talked about the headlines, let's go into the Monday night game because, guys, that Monday night game was wild. And I thought this was going to be a scoring bonanza. This is going to be a score fest, right? Nope. It was 19-16. Broncos played like crap. Chargers played like crap. It was a defense bonanza. And yes, I know we could say the defenses are better. Yeah, I know the defenses are good. But I really thought that, Herbert was going to go out, throw out a couple bombs. Russell was going to learn how to play football finally. But it just did not seem to happen. The Chargers won with a kicker that was hurt. He couldn't even walk, and he had a whole black brace on his leg the whole entire day after he hurt himself after the extra point on the first kick of the game. So guys, the Chargers won 16-19. Russell Wilson didn't do very good. Cordell Sutton had 3 points. I don't know what to do about that backfield in the Broncos because it looks like Latavius Murray's the guy. Melvin Gordon didn't even play. Thank goodness for Austin Eckler. He did his thing like usual. He caught 10 balls. He had 41 yards, and he got himself a touchdown and 39 yards. He put up 24-plus fantasy points, and if you have Austin Eckler, you were feeling real good. Justin Herbert only put up 14, didn't have himself a really good game. Mike Williams had not a good game at all. Keenan Allen was still hurt, but if you had Austin Eckler, you were probably feeling real good. Monday Night Football, guys, it was wild. It was crazy. But let's talk about the injuries now, because we had a lot of injuries go down this week. Or, I mean, not as many, but it seemed like there was guys, and there were big-name guys that went down. And I don't have too many injuries written down. We have the Jonathan Taylors that was out. We had Chris Olave that was out with the concussion. We still have Mac Jones out. We have guys like that were originally ruled out, Nyheim Hines and so forth and so forth, So you just got to keep an eye out it. But the one game you guys do really got to keep an eye out, it is Thursday night. It is the Cardinals. It is the Saints, the New Orleans Saints against the Arizona Cardinals. And, we are going to be able to see the return of DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray's favorite target, is back. He's able to return. He was activated. So now he is returned. But Marquis Brown, Hollywood Brown, guys, with a foot injury. He left the game. He did not return after having a decent game. And, before that, he, had a decent game, but he left. And now he's hurt, and it's like the Cardinals get one guy back, and now they lose a guy. So we'll have to see what happens. But in my opinion, I would stay off DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe you start him this week, and we'll talk about DeAndre in a little bit. And I think you may have to start him. But it's one of those things that you just, I don't know. I just, after last week with Thursday Night Football, seeing Terry only scored 8 points and then having to look at that for 4 days, I don't know if I'm going to really want to do that, guys. But we'll talk about DeAndre Hopkins in a little bit. Dak Prescott has been out for a while. He has his thumb injury. He had surgery and stuff like that. And it looks like Dak Prescott should return very soon because Cooper Rush, I think people are starting to figure him out. And, the Eagles made him look like Juju, and he just did not do very well on Sunday night. Eagles still undefeated. Jalen Hurts doing his thing on the Eagles, and they're in their third year, and they're just having a good old time. So, guys, I don't know, but we'll have to see what happens with Dak later on. Carson Wentz, though. Carson Wentz is out with a finger injury. He is having surgery, and he will be out for a certain amount. I think they said 4 to 6 weeks to be exact. Taylor Heinecke is back in the NFL. He's back as the starter of the Washington Commanders. Brian Robinson, though, guys, if you guys didn't get him, I told you a while ago to go pick him up. Put him on your IR. Hopefully you did, because he scored a touchdown versus the Bears on Thursday night. I think he's going to be the guy going forward. The Packers, we saw what Michael Carter and Breece Hall did onto the Packers defense. I think that Brian Robinson is a start this week, a sleeper. If you're able to go get him, if somebody still hasn't picked him up, you should really go think about picking him up. Go think about it. So, especially with Carson Wentz out, maybe they're going to run the ball more. But we'll have to see. And those were a lot of the big name injuries. Like I said, we had Jonathan Taylor, Chris Olave, and the guys so on and so forth. Mac Jones. We'll see if Mac Jones plays on Monday night versus the Bears. Next Monday night, guys, we'll be here Monday night watching the Bears and Patriots, and then we'll be watching Monday Night Raw. But now that we talked about the injuries, let's go into the 3 things that I learned this week, because I try to say that I want to learn something every week, and I try to learn something. But I keep making the same goddamn mistakes, guys. I keep doing it. I keep doing it to myself. It's me. Every time I drop a guy, they go off. Every time I pick up a guy, they suck. Every time I put a guy on my bench, he goes off. I can't seem to make the right decision. But the biggest thing, one of the biggest things I learned this year, it's the most unpredictable season. Like we talked about, the 3rd string running back from the Colts is scoring 26 points. He's scoring more points than the 2 guys I drafted in the 1st and 2nd round in Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones. He literally scored more points than them combined, and I spent my 1st and 2nd round pick on those 2 running backs. We don't know. Matt Ryan is putting up 40 points. Last year, Matt Ryan was on the Falcons and couldn't do nothing. Or was he on the Falcons last year, or was that 2 years ago? I don't know. But Matt Ryan, no, that was last year that he was on the Falcons. This is his 1st year on the Colts. But anyway, Matt Ryan putting up 40 points. Guys putting up nothing. Matthew Stafford doing absolutely nothing. Super Bowl champion. And maybe he's got the Super Bowl blues, guys. But the other thing that I learned, we can't trust any Rams players besides Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford only throws to Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford only loves Cooper Kupp. He kind of likes Tyler Higbee. But Darrell Henderson Jr., I don't know about him. Obviously, you got to keep him as like a bye weeks, especially with bye weeks coming up. We'll get into bye weeks when we start previewing week 7. But with bye weeks coming up, you got to keep him. But honestly, like I said, the only guy I really trust in the Rams offense is Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford likes to throw the ball to the team. Cam Akers is a disaster story. Nobody knows what's going on with Cam Akers. Cam Akers seems to probably be getting traded very soon. The Rams might just be moving on from Cam Akers after having a great postseason and a great last end of the year last year. I don't know, guys. Cam Akers has got to be the biggest bust in fantasy football so far, especially with the people that drafted him very high. And the last thing that I learned, Travis Kelce ain't the number 1 fantasy football tight end anymore, guys. It's the guy from the Baltimore Ravens. It's Mark Andrews. We're so used to Mark Andrews putting up 25, 30 points. When this guy puts up like 20, 21 points, we're kind of mad. And yeah, we might be a little greedy, but Mark Andrews putting up points every week. Him and Lamar got a great connection. And I just learned that Travis Kelce is a very close number 1, but I think Mark Andrews is the number 1 tight end in all of fantasy football. So if you have him on your team like I do, I wouldn't trade him. I would keep him every single year, every single time. So those are the 3 things that I learned coming out of week 6, going into week 7. And now let's talk about the disappointments. Let's get that out of the way because your boy's going on another rant. Because a lot of these players was on his teams, and this is why your Tino sucks at fantasy, guys. But let's get the disappointments out of the way, and then let's talk about the guys that actually did good for you this week and helps you win. And then after that, we're going to move on from week 6, and we're going to go to week 7. We're going to close the page, and we're going to try to find a way to get a W this week for me and all of you. But first, the disappointments. And guys, the disappointments here. I had a lot of these guys on my team. A lot of them. It's very irritating. Nick Chubb. We just talked about Nick Chubb. Deon Jackson scored more points than Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb only had 8 points. Aaron Jones, 7.4 points. My 2 running backs, guys, I just said it. 13, what is that? 15 point? No. What's 8 plus 7? I can't do math here. 8 plus 8 is 60. 15. That's 15.4 points. When Deon Jackson, I could have picked him up off the waiver wire on Saturday night and started him, and where I would have won. But who would have saw that coming from Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones? Obviously, you're not going to sit Aaron Jones and Nick Chubb, but it's just one of those things that you got to keep an eye out for because maybe they just aren't. I don't know. I hope they bounce back next week. The Packers do play the Commanders. Hopefully the Browns get back on track, and we'll have to figure it out. I don't know. I hope so, though. But, guys, I traded for him. I literally traded for this guy on Wednesday. Jeff Wilson Jr. traded for him. I'm like, hell yeah, I got a running back. I'm feeling good. Tino's got better players. He's going to win this week. He's facing the guy that's 0-5. Tino's got this in the bag. And maybe I got a little too confident. But 0.5 points, Jeff Wilson. 0.5. You didn't even get a full point. I could have started Tino. Tino would have got more points than you. I could have started Jadis. Jadis would have went out there and got a touchdown for me. 0.5 points. And yes, we know we love the shenanigans here on Tino's time. Kyle Shanahan. Can't even say the last name. Kyle Shanahan. We call it the shenanigans, if you guys don't know. But Kyle Shanahan, he likes to mess with running backs, and the 49ers are, I guess, a disaster besides Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo had the game of his life, and George Kittle learned how to play football, and I don't know, but Jeff Wilson, you're a disaster. Seattle, Geno Smith. You were supposed to go out there and do Geno Smith type stuff. You were supposed to go out there, do your thing. Go out there, ball out, show everybody what it's all about, and you don't. Geno, Tyler Lockett combined for 16 points. They did absolutely nothing. I guess it's me. I said it. I've been saying it, guys. Maybe I'm just the quarterback cursor because every quarterback I start does not do good. I started Kyler Murray over Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow goes off. Him and Jamar Chase were having LSU vibes when they were playing in New Orleans all over again. I don't know. But, man, the Seattle Mariners. Poor Seattle Mariners getting swept by the Astros. We'll talk about baseball later on tonight, but I really do hope the Yankees beat the Guardians, guys, at 3 o'clock. J.K. Dobbins only got 1.5 points. Kenyan Drake got the ball a lot, and I think, guys, Kenyan Drake is a very high top waiver wire priority. So if you don't yet, go put some fab money in. Go get Kenyan Drake and get him on your team, because if J.K. Dobbins is out, because J.K. Dobbins did leave with an injury, if J.K. Dobbins is out, then Kenyan Drake is an RB2 this week. So, guys, I would definitely think about picking up Kenyan Drake. Can't believe I'm saying that either. 2022, we're picking up Kenyan Drake. Who thought? And the last disappointment of the week, so then we could get rid of these negative vibes and we could get back into some positive vibes and talk about all the good players. Let's talk about Curtis Samuel. Thursday Night Football, Washington Commanders going in, facing the Chicago Bears. Commanders, Brian Robinson got a touchdown. Terry McLaurin got 8 points. Logan Thomas was out. They really didn't seem to get too much going. The Bears fumbled at the 5-yard line. But Curtis Samuel only got 2.6 points. He got one target for 6 yards. Two targets for 6 yards. Or I think it was one target for 16 yards. It was one of the three. I don't know exactly. But anyway, Curtis Samuel only had 2.6 points. And now with Taylor Heinecke being out, I'm very scared about starting the Washington Commanders wide receivers, but I know if I don't, if I don't, they're going to go off, and I know if I do, they're not going to go off. So I don't know what to do, guys. I just need some goddamn consistency on my team. I don't know if anybody else having the same problem, but let me know, because it's a disaster, guys. And those are all of the disappointments that I have here. And now let's get into the top performances of the week. And guys, Cameron, I see your comments. I will get to your comments ASAP, Cameron. Cameron, make sure to stay in here, man. What's up, Elias? What's up, Armchair? Big W for Tino's fantasy this week. Thank you, Armchair. What's up, April? Thanks for coming and hanging out. But guys, let's talk about the top performances of the week. And the guys, if you had these guys, you probably took the W this week. I only got one win this week. I think the record I'm going to go all season is 1-2 every week, because that's all I've done. But Joe Burrow, we talked about him. Joe Burrow went out, put up 3 touchdowns. He had 44.5 points. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase went out in New Orleans and had themselves a day. Jamar Chase, he put up 32.6 fantasy points. And Jamar Chase went out and did his thing, and he was the number 1 wide receiver that we needed him to be. Hopefully they can continue that in the weeks and the upcoming week going up against the Atlanta Falcons defense. Tyreek Hill, 29.7 points. Tyreek Hill obviously does. We were all worried about Tyreek Hill, and we shouldn't have been. We all messed up, and we all should have took him when we had the chance, because Tyreek Hill doing his thing, and he's having himself a great season. He has 29.7 points, and I guess it don't matter who the quarterback is. Speaking of quarterbacks, though, Trevor Lawrence, guys, went out, put up 30.2 fantasy points, went out and did his thing. Michael Pittman went out and put up he put up 26 points. Michael Pittman did. Michael Pittman put up 26 points, went out and did his thing, and it was great to see. Stefon Diggs, 30.8 points. Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs have just some type of connection, people, that is irresistible, because they are just, it's ridiculous the way that these guys play against each other or with each other. It's crazy. Brandon Aew, 28.3 points. 28.3 points. Who saw Brandon Aew being Jimmy Garoppolo's favorite target this week? I was just hoping for a couple catches from Jeff Wilson Jr. George Kittle got a lot of. That San Francisco offense just irritates me. I don't know why I thought Jeff Wilson was a good idea. Deon Jackson, guys, we talked about him a lot earlier. He was in the fantasy headlines, and Deon Jackson went out and put 28 one-point fantasy points out, had himself a bunch of catches. He looked like a PPR machine, and Matt Ryan loves to dump it off to his running backs. He did it in Atlanta, to Cordell Patterson, to all the running backs that they had there. So if Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines are continuously out, Deon Jackson is a safe play and a very good RB2. And it looks like Jonathan Taylor will return this week. So I wouldn't drop Deon Jackson, obviously, because if Jonathan Taylor hurts himself again, you see what happens when he's out. So keep Deon Jackson on your team and make sure to start him if Jonathan Taylor is out. Matt Ryan, guys, I just said it. Matty Ice is back. He's bringing the Colts to the Super Bowl. Not really. But he went out. He had a great day. He had a great day. And he put out 40 points. Put out 40 fantasy points. Had himself a very good showing. And Matt Ryan did his thing. And he continues to do it. I don't know what's going to happen this week, but I don't trust Matt Ryan. I just don't. Patrick Mahomes, though, a guy I do trust, and I wish I did have on any of my fantasy teams. He went out and had 32 fantasy points, guys. Who would have thought that Patrick Mahomes? I mean, I knew that game was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be that crazy. And the Bills got a little redemption. So Patrick Mahomes went out and is continued proving why he is a very good RB. I guess, because he does run the ball. So he is a very good quarterback. But guys, that's what we got for week 6. Week 6. It's week because we week here. It's week 6. That's all we got here for week 6. But now let's get into week 7 and let's close the page, guys. Let's forget about that wild week and let's try to look forward to week 7, because we got to try to look forward. You can't think about the past. You can't think about it. You can't get upset about it because you really can't control it. All we can do is set our lineups and hope for the best. So let's get in and let's start previewing week 7. But before we start previewing week 7, let's get into the bold, or not let's get into, before we get into the bold predictions, because Tino was right on one bold prediction last week. He's 2 for 2 in the last 2 weeks. We got to talk about the teams that are on a bye. The Minnesota Vikings are on a bye, so you're going to be missing Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, Irv Smith Jr. if you're going to be starting him. And then we go to the bottom, and if you have the one and almighty Josh Allen, we're going to be missing Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Stefon Diggs, Dawson Knox, Isaiah McKenzie, all of the Bills receivers, quarterbacks, all of the players on the Bills. The Rams, kind of happy the Rams are on a bye because I don't have to worrying about starting them or doing anything about them. I want to get every Rams player off my team, and I don't really care. I'm sure that Cam Akers will now go to a different team and have himself a year, but I just can't deal with it. So, guys, I don't know, but the Rams are on a bye, and the only person I'd be missing is Cooper Kupp if you do have Cooper Kupp. But that's only the people that were lucky enough to get him. And the last team that's on a bye here in week 7, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going into the bye week 6-0. They're feeling good. They beat the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott maybe be coming back this week. But, guys, that is what we have for the bye weeks. So if you're missing all those players on the Eagles like Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, all of these players. Don't you worry, because now that we talked about the bye weeks, and now let's get into the bold predictions. After we get into the bold predictions, your boy Tino's got you covered, as I'm going to give you all the players to pick up, start, sit, stream for week 7, because the bye weeks suck and we got the bye week blues. So before we get into the waiver wire pickups, let's talk about these bold predictions. Because, guys, Tino's been doing good on the bold predictions this year. Last week, we said it. I said the Jets were going to beat the Packers. I didn't know how. I didn't know if Breece Hall was going to go out, do his thing. I didn't think Sauce Gardner was going to go out and put a cheese head on his head and walk out there and be like, I'm the man of Green Bay, Wisconsin. I mean, I kind of enjoyed that. Fuck the Packer fans. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry. I don't like cheeseheads. It is what it is, though, guys. But let's see what the bold predictions we got for this week, and let's see if I can get them right. My bold prediction, we think, and I think the Lions are going to beat the Cowboys. Lions are going to beat them boys, guys. The Cowboys are coming off of a loss. Lions are coming off of a bye week. Jared Goff got a little healthy. DeAndre Swift possibly should be back. Amon St. Brown should be back. TJ Hawkinson. I think if Dak Prescott don't play, and there are rumors that he could play this week, but I think if he does not play, I think the Lions could very well beat the Cowboys coming off of their bye week. The second bold prediction I got for you, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow went off last week in New Orleans. They're going to do it again. They're going to have 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Together, it's going to be a show. Joe Burrow's going to go out and put on a show. I'm starting him over Kyler Murray, so I'm hoping for the best. And Joe Burrow, please don't let me down. Thursday night has 8 touchdowns, guys. We finally have a decent Thursday night game. It may be Jameis Winston or the Red Rifle Andy Dalton going up against Kyler Murray, but could we see 8 touchdowns? We have not seen very many touchdowns on Thursday night. Thursday night Amazon Prime games have not been very good. So I think that there very well is a possibility that we could see a lot of touchdown scores because DeAndre is coming back. Kyler plays better. I don't know. I know Kyler's probably going to go off because I'm sitting him this week. So if you probably do start Kyler, I'm sure he'll do great because I'm not going to start him this week. So you guys should just do it the opposite I say. Maybe I should just start doing the opposite of what I say, right? So guys, that's the bold predictions, and we'll be back here next week on Tuesday to see if I got any right. Now let's get into all the players because I gave a lot of teams on a bye. There's 4 teams on a bye, but there are like the teams like the Bills, the Eagles, and the Vikings that have a lot of big name players that we're missing. So now let's get into the waiver wire pickups that you guys need to go and pick up. Make sure you put some money on them, put some fat money on them. Go and get them. Make sure they're on your team. The number 5 waiver wire pickup of the week is Ben Schronek. Schronek. I think that's how you say it. He is Cooper Kupp's stunt devil. And yes, the Rams are on a bye this week, but that's the perfect time to get him is when they're on a bye. Nobody's looking at him. Go and get him because, for some reason, Cooper Kupp has been having, I think Matthew Stafford just says, somebody looks like Cooper, just throw it down there somewhere. And Ben seems to catch the ball. So I'd go pick up Ben in a minute. Number 4, it's a tight end, and we always need tight ends. It's Daniel Bellinger from the New York Giants. New York Giants 5-1. The Giants and Jets Super Bowl 55, 56, whatever Super Bowl we on, 70, 75 Super Bowl. I don't know. But Giants and Jets, guys, it looks like that's going to be the Super Bowl this year. Who would have thought? Probably not. Eventually, they're going to come back to earth, right? Right? I don't know. Number 3, though, guys, another tight end. We always need tight ends in our lives. It's Robert Tonyon. He had himself a very good game, even though the Jets lost, or even though the Jets beat the Packers. Robert Tonyon had 10 receptions. He got targeted about 14 to 15 times. Robert Tonyon had himself a very good game. And if you always need a tight end, as you always do, unless you have Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce, to be honest, because those are the only 2 I trust, I would definitely go think about getting them. I told you to start this guy last week. He was a sleeper, and I lost because I didn't listen to my own advice and not started him. Alec Pierce caught himself a touchdown versus the Colts. Matt Ryan scored 40 points. Matt Ryan seems to know how to play football. So I wouldn't start Matt Ryan, but I would definitely go pick up Alec Pierce, and I would start him. And also, guys, go check out Armchair Athletes. My man Corey has a good show that came out at 2 o'clock. It's about a 10-minute video. He talks a little bit about Alec Pierce, so much more. I've been listening to him. He's been helping me out a little bit because I suck in my one league that I always complain about. So he's trying to been helping me, but go check him out. He's definitely got some good fantasy advice too. But go check him out after you're done checking me out. And we got one more before we get to the starts. We got one more and the number one waiver wire pickup of the week. J.K. Dobbins is out, guys. Kenyan Drake, running back from the Baltimore Ravens. He was on the Carolina. He was on the Arizona Cardinals, and Kenyan Drake went out, had himself a very good day with the Baltimore Ravens. And I think if J.K. Dobbins is out, I said it earlier, I think Kenyan Drake could easily be a plug-and-play RB2. So go pick up Kenyan Drake as your number one waiver wire pickup for Week 7. And now, let's get into the starts, sits, and streams. But before we do that, your boy Tino's got to take a sip of water. So how's everybody doing in the chat? Let's see how everybody's doing. I see we got some comments. Let's go through the comments a little bit. We got Armchair. What's up, Armchair? I'm giving you a shout out and you're in here. He says big W for Tino in fantasy. Yeah, I wish I got a W. I only got a W in one league, and that league doesn't mean too much. We got April in the building. What's up, April? Elias says, I'm so screwed in fantasy this week. He's got Kupp, Josh Allen on buys. Wide receivers I'm stuck with are Kirk, Samuel, Rondell Moore, and Dobbs. Elias, I would definitely consider starting out of those four. I would start Christian Kirk because for some reason Trevor Lawrence loves him. And out of Rondell Moore and Dobbs, I would start Dobbs over Moore because with DeAndre Hopkins coming back, I just feel like Kyler Murray's just going to feed him. And I just think that's what's going to happen. So I would definitely start Kirk and Dobbs over those four guys. Cameron in the building. What's up, Cameron? How you doing? I currently have a claim open to pick up Dotson off waivers and drop KJ Osborne. My Eagles defense are on a bye this week. Really don't want to drop them. Should I cancel the Dotson claim and pick up Miami's defense? So for this one, Cameron, I mean, you obviously need a defense because the Eagles are on a bye. And the Dolphins are playing. Who are the Dolphins playing this week exactly? The Dolphins are playing on Sunday Night Football. That's right. Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. I mean, I definitely would because we know Mitchell Trubisky loves throwing interceptions. As a Bears fan, I know that. Mitchell Trubisky loves throwing interceptions. And not that Mitch isn't a bad player. I think Mitch is a very good player. And I think that'll be very good. I just think that, the Dolphins could get a pick six or something like that. So I think I would drop KJ and pick up the Dolphins. And then because what is KJ Osborne really doing? He's on a bye. The Vikings are always going to be throwing always to Justin Jefferson. And if you really need to re-pick up KJ Osborne, just pick him back up next week. Like, let's be real here. How many people are really going to go out and be like, I need KJ Osborne. I need that guy. So I would definitely think about doing that, Cameron. He says, if the Dotson claim goes through, I'd have to drop Nyheim Hines, Dawson Knox, Madsen, Dotson, or Jared Goff to pick them up. If honestly, I would cancel that. And like I said, I would, I would pick up the Dolphins defense, drop Osborne, keep Dotson, because I feel like Dotson might be more useful. I don't know. But you obviously need a defense, Cameron. So that's what I think that you should do. Chris says his predictions. Chris, what's up, Chris? My predictions. Chris is talking a little bit about wrestling. Bianca Belair next week, Raw. They have Bayley versus Bianca for the Raw Women's Champion at Crown Jewel. Big facts. Dak Prescott will play this week. Okay, that's good. Robbie Anderson is now an Arizona Cardinal. Yes, Robbie Anderson, guys. I was going to talk about that in a little bit, but Chris beat me to it. So, yes, Robbie Anderson is now a team member of the Carolina Panthers after being thrown out of the game and sent to the locker room by the interim coach on Sunday. Carolina got themselves and got them out. Eagles versus Buffalo in the Super Bowl. I'm down for that. We got Eric in the building. And guys, we caught up on the chat. So now Keep chatting, keep leaving your comments. I appreciate Cameron, Chris, Armchair, all of you guys coming and hanging out. Continue to leave your comments, your concerns in the chat. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys got to say. But let's get into the starts, and then we will continue. And then after we're done, like I said, I'll continue to talk about the chat, and we'll get into it. But the starts, guys. The guys that you need to start. Chris said it, so if Chris said it, it's got to be true. Dak Prescott, if he's playing this week, I think you start him. I know I said the Lions could beat the Cowboys, but I think that's if Cooper Rush plays. If Dak Prescott plays, I think Dak's going to come out and have an attack. So honestly, I'd start all your Cowboys this week versus the Lions. I think it could be a very good shootout game. But in the end, like I said, maybe the Lions come out on top somehow and your boy gets another prediction right. Bold prediction. But Dak Prescott, good starting quarterback. Joe Burrow going up against the Falcons. Joe Burrow had himself a great game last week, and I think he's going to do it again. Start Joe Burrow over the Falcons this week. Kenyan Drake, I told you start him, you put him in your lineup. If J.K. Dobbins is out, going up against the Browns this week, Kenyan Drake could be a very good sleeper and an RB2 flex option. Travis Etienne looks like he's taken over for the Jacksonville Jaguars, finally, as we've been waiting for a year and a half. But he's going up against the Giants. The Giants have been playing very well, but I think Travis Etienne could break a run, and I think he could have himself a very good game. So start him. DeAndre Hopkins. We talked about DeAndre a little bit ago, and I think that DeAndre Hopkins is a very good start because I think that if he's in the game, I think that Kyler Murray is going to want to feed him left and right. So start DeAndre Hopkins, and I think that it's going to be a very good start if on Thursday Marquis Brown is out, obviously. When DeAndre Hopkins plays, I think it's going to be a good game. So I would start him. Amon St. Brown, he's coming off an injury, coming off of a bye week. He should play this week, going up against the Cowboys. And I think the Lions, I think it could be a shootout. I do think the Lions could possibly win. The Cowboys very well could stop them like they did a while ago, or like the Cowboys did it last week where they made the Rams look like Pee-wee team. But I think that it is safe to start Amon St. Brown this week. The two tight ends we're going to start, Robert Tonyon. I told you to pick him up. You put him in your lineup. Robert Tonyon going up against the Washington Commanders. I think you start Robert Tonyon this week, and I think he has a very good matchup versus the Commanders. I don't know how well the Commanders are going to do, and, we saw what Rodgers did last week, and he must really trust Tonyon if he's getting that many targets. Zach Gertz going up against the Saints. Zach Gertz had himself a good game Thursday night. I think that he'll go up and he'll have himself another great game on Thursday night. He had a good game on Sunday, I should say. But Zach Ertz is a very good start this week. Denver Broncos going up against the New York Jets. I know the New York Jets are playing great, but guys, the Broncos defense is great. We saw what they did to Justin Herbert. I don't know how well Zach Wilson's going to do. So if you need a defense to start this week, you have the Broncos. Put them in your lineup and feel good about it. Now let's get into the sits of the week. The guys that you need to take off your team, you need to put on your bench, and then we'll get into the guys that you can stream. For the guys that I told you to put on your bench, we're going to tell you guys that you can put in to replace them. So the sits of the week, we got Russell Wilson, the sit of the week. I just cannot trust Russell Wilson, guys. As sad as it is, the Broncos are a disaster. They can't do anything right. Russell Wilson looked like trash last night versus the Chargers. They lost 19-16. They missed everything, executed horribly. It was just not a good game, and I just cannot trust Russell Wilson. Mitchell Trubisky, guys. Don't be crazy now. Don't be going bananas and being like, let's go start Mitchell Trubisky now. I mean, I think Mitch is a very good player, and I think Mitch could be very good. But I don't want to be there on Sunday night relying on Mitchell Trubisky having to give me 25 fantasy points for me to win when he's facing the Dolphins defense. So I'd rather start other quarterbacks, and we'll talk about two other quarterbacks I think you could start over Mitchell Trubisky and other guys. So Mitchell Trubisky, I'm sitting them. Running backs for the Lions. I don't know how DeAndre Swift is going to come back from the injury, and he very well could come back. He has 30 points, puts on a show, has himself a very good game. But it's just one of those things. I want to see how it plays out first. I want to see what happens. But I know you're probably going to have to start him. But if somehow you were able to get guys like Robinson, or you were able to get somebody like Kenneth Walker off the waiver wire, if you were able to get somebody like that, I would definitely consider sitting Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift just until we see what they do. The Cowboys defense is good. We saw what they did to the Rams running backs. We saw what they I don't know. I just don't want to trust it. I do trust Amon St. Brown though. Michael Carter. Michael Carter is losing snaps to Breece Hill, and everybody might think it's a running back by committee, but I think Breece Hall is going to be the running back of the future of the New York Jets. So I'm going to stay away from the New York Jets. Speaking of the New York Jets, Garrett Wilson, he is nowhere to be found without Joe Flacco. Zach Wilson loves himself some Corey Davis, and he loves himself. Him and Corey Davis got a Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford type of connection. So, Zach Wilson bangs moms. So, good for him. Maybe he banged Corey's mom. I don't know. But Garrett Wilson, I'm not starting him this week. I just can't. DJ Moore. Carolina's a mess. Baker's hurt. PJ Walker's in the game. Only person on that team I trust is Christian McCaffrey. Robbie Anderson got traded for having a fight on the sidelines. I just don't want any piece of it, and I just don't want to deal with it. So DJ Moore, we're going to sit you this week going up against the Bucs. Tight ends, guys. I don't have any tight ends you can sit because we always need tight ends with all these tight ends hurt, with now tight ends in a bye like oh my God, Irv Smith Jr., with guys like Tyler Higbee, Dallas Goedert, and so on and so forth. Dawson Knox on a bye. I know it's not no Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce, but still, those are some big guys being on a bye. So I think you need to start every tight end and hope for the best and hope that they get a touchdown. The defense, though, that you guys are sitting is the 49ers going up against the Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes very well could have himself a bad game. But I don't know if I want to really rely on the 49ers defense. And yes, they're very good, but Patrick Mahomes will do his thing. And even if the 49ers have a good game, they have some sacks and stuff, they're still going to put up 34 points, and you're not going to have yourself a very good defensive game. So I think you could sit the 49ers this week. And now that we talked about the sits, let's talk about the streams, and let's talk about the guys that you can put in your lineup after I told you all those guys just to take out of your lineup. So let's get into the streams of the week. And I see all you guys in the chat. Let's see what's up with you guys. Chris and Hassan, Eric in the building. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Let's get into the streams of the week, guys. Marcus Mariota. Can't even believe I'm saying we're going to start an Atlanta Falcons quarterback here on Tino's time after what Matthew Ryan did last year to me. But Marcus Mariota, guys, he runs the ball. He doesn't throw to Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts did get a touchdown finally, but he doesn't throw to Kyle Pitts. And, Marcus Mariota with bye weeks with guys like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, if you're still starting Matthew Stafford for some reason, Kirk Cousins, etc., Marcus Mariota is a very good start, possibly versus the Bengals. Jacoby Brissette. Didn't think I'd be saying this, but the Ravens defense, guys, is just awful. That Ravens defense can't stop me throwing a football. So Jacoby Brissette, again, so many quarterbacks on a bye with big names like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and so on and so forth. Jacoby Brissette, waiver wire, deep dive. If it's a 12-team, 14-team league, I definitely would consider starting Jacoby Brissette this week. Another sleeper, a Falcon, maybe. I don't know how I feel about this one too much, but Caleb Huntley, possibly. He seems to be getting the ball a little bit more. Caleb Huntley is a sleeper with all the running backs on a bye, like I said, Devin Singletary, Miles Sanders, Dalvin Cook. If you're starting Alexander Madison for some reason, we have all these running backs on a bye. So it's not going to get any better, guys. So sometimes you're going to just have to deep dive. Now this one, we talked about him in the top performances. Deon Jackson. If Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines is out this week, Jonathan Taylor and Hines, if they're out this week, you're starting Deon Jackson in your RB2 or flex option again. You saw what he did last week. Matthew Stafford can continue to check the ball down versus him as they play the Tennessee Titans, and I think it will be a good game. Wide receivers you could stream, and these wide receivers are two deep sleepers that you guys may be like, nah, Tino, I don't know if I want to do that. But Juan Del Robinson going up against the Jaguars. He's on the New York Giants. Juan Del Robinson have himself a very good few games. And with all of the injuries that the Giants have with the wide receiver core, Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, so on and so forth. They have injuries galore. I think that Juan Del Robinson is a very good deep sleeper wide receiver this week. The Browns. I talked about the Browns. Devontae Peoples-Jones. Peoples-Jones, guys, Browns wide receiver. Can't even believe I'm saying it in 2022, but I think that you could go pick him up, start him this week against the Ravens. Jacoby's got to throw it to somebody, right? Besides Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So why not take a chance on some Peoples-Jones, Tight ends, guys. We always got to try to find a tight end. You got to dig deep. You got to dig deep. You got to dig all the way down and then put your head down. And we found Mr. Cade Otton. Who? You might be saying, Tino, who the hell is that guy? Why am I going to pick this guy up? Well, he's facing the Panthers this week. They're a disaster. He's on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers got Tom Brady. Even though Tom Brady isn't the best, we got tight ends on a bye. We got to try to do what we can. So I would trust this guy and hope that he gets a tight end. So guys, go pick up Cade Otton, and go pick him up. Put him in the lineup this week, going up against the Panthers, and have yourself a day. As on Sunday, he catches yourself your touchdown, and Tino's going to be like, hell yeah. So guys, I'm saying it. Start Noah Fant. Noah Fant is the other tight end we're going to stream this week. Going up against the Chargers, Geno Smith threw the ball a lot to him, and even though Geno Smith didn't have himself a very good game, I think that Noah Fant will bounce back versus the Chargers. I think Seattle will definitely do better than the Broncos did because they should, right? They should, right? I'm hoping. So if you need a tight end, there's a lot of different tight ends you guys can go and get, but I would feel better starting Noah Fant or streaming them this week if you have guys on a bye. The defense we can stream this week, I think, is the Raiders. The Raiders, guys, are back after their bye week. They're going to go and they're going to try to bounce back after that crazy Devontae Adams situation and everything. They're back here. They're facing the Texans, and they're going to try to bounce back and get themselves a win. So the Raiders, I think, are a very good stream this week. And those are the starts, the streams, and the sits of Week 7 for here on Tino's Time, guys. And now that we talked about that, let's get into the games that are going to be fantasy gold and the games that if you have these players on these teams, you're going to have yourself one hell of a day, and it's going to be a real good time. So let's talk about the 3 games that are going to be fantasy gold. And the first game, I just talked about it a second ago, Seattle versus the Chargers. Yes, the Chargers defense is very good and everything, but I do think that the Chargers defense is good, I should say. I didn't mean Seattle. But the Chargers defense is very good. Even though I think that I think that Seattle will score a few touchdowns. I think Geno will bounce back. I think Tyler Lockett will bounce back. Kenneth Walker, I almost said Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Walker is a very good option this week. I think Seattle has himself an RB1 with Rashad Penny out for the season. The Lions and Cowboys. Yes, the Cowboys defense is great. The Cowboys, dumb boys, they go into the Super Bowl. We having a party in Dallas, baby. Jerry's World going to be blowing up. We're going to be shooting fireworks. We're going to be shooting bombs. We're going to have the firecrackers going. But Lions and Cowboys, I think, could be a very big game. Shootout. Lions are going to have to throw the ball. Dak is returning. I think it's going to be one hell of a game. So start all your Lions and Cowboys. And the last gold game of the week, it is the Ravens versus the Browns. The Ravens offense is great. The Ravens defense, not so much. And the Browns, they got Jacoby Brissette. They got Nick Chubb. They got Amari Cooper. They got they got Peoples-Jones. I can't say his first name for some reason today. But they got Peoples-Jones, guys. I think they have themselves a very good game. I think it's going to be a complete shootout. Lamar's going to have a game. Andrews, Kenyan Drake if he starts. So many guys. Guys, if you have all those players on those teams, make sure you start them all because those are my 3 games that are going to be fantasy gold here in Week 7 of this week in fantasy football. And now let's go into the 3 guarantees here on Tino's Time. And then we're going to get in the chat. We're going to talk to you guys, see how everybody's doing. And then want to say goodbye, but we'll be back here for part 2 of the triple header tonight as we watch NXT and Aew Dynamite. But my 3 guarantees that I have here for the last and the things that are going to happen in Week 7 that I guarantee you we'll be here talking about it next week is the Packers take out all their frustration. They lost to the Giants. They lost to the Jets. Sauce Gardner Jr. walking around with the cheese head, having himself a day, saying he's the man. And I think the Packers are just going to take all their frustrations on the Commanders. Packers are going to have a day. Rodgers scores 2 touchdowns. Jones scores 2 touchdowns. Hopefully, Tonyon scores a touchdown. Everybody scores a touchdown. Hopefully, that's what happens. Chargers in Seattle, shootout. We saw a great defensive game last night, but I think it's going to be the opposite way for the Chargers. I think Seattle's going to have themselves a good game. It's going to be a shootout, and I guarantee you that Seattle and the Chargers are going to have themselves a great game, and it should be no defense. At least hopefully. I hope there's no defense. Bears, this is a funny one, guys. And this is for all of you Bear fans out there because we're sitting at Soldiers Field. Since the Bears play on Monday night, guys, the Bears won't lose on Sunday. It's guaranteed. The Bears won't lose on Sunday. Let's go. We won't lose. We'll lose on Monday. But, guys, those are my 3 guarantees for week 7. So that is all I have here for everybody here for a week 6 recap and a week 7 preview. So hopefully all this information helps you set your lineups for week 7. And hopefully you guys can take home a win. Your boy Tino needs a win. I hope you guys need a win. And so, yeah, guys, that's all I have for you, though. But let's get into the chat. Let's talk to everybody. Let's see what everybody's doing. Let's get into it. Eric is here. Eric says, Tino is the GOAT. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you. Eric says, hi. Eric also says, do you think AEW looks at Hater as championship material? See, I think that they do, but the problem that I've been noticing a lot lately is I feel like that they've just been focusing on a lot of non-champions. Like, I love Britt Baker, but why is she still winning every match in hindsight? Or like tonight is AEW Tuesday night championship night as we watch AEW Dynamite. It's like Tony Khan wants to put every title on the line because he knows that NXT is on too. So I think that we could very well have that. We'll have to see. But Jamie Hayter, I think she's very well championship material. Chris says, I go in and start Miami's defense this week since the Philadelphia Eagles are on a bye. I think that's a good idea. Philadelphia Phillies and San Diego Padres, game 1 of the NLCS is tonight. Yes, guys, we will be live, like I said, after AEW and after NXT, 9:45. We'll be live here. We'll be watching the Philadelphia and the Padres game. We're going to talk about the ALCS as it sits. We don't know who's facing the Astros. Is it going to be the Guardians or the Yankees? We're going to find out tonight at 3 o'clock or today at 3 o'clock, actually in like 20 minutes. So, guys, we'll be going live after Dynamite and after NXT at 9:45 to talk everything baseball. So make sure you come and join here, as that's the last stop here on Tino's time tonight, because we got ourselves a triple header. Eric says, Hall to Rocky Top, you feel like, huh? Okay. Hassan says, what's up, Hassan? Sauce Gardner is the future of the NFL. Man, after what he did, I don't know if Packers fans liked him too much. Roxanne is going to die tonight. Yes, Roxanne, guys, is facing Raquel Rodriguez, or not Raquel, I'm sorry. Roxanne is facing Rhea, and Cora is facing Raquel Rodriguez. So it should be very interesting. Chicago Bears will win on Monday. Chris, I hope so. But I just don't. I don't want to get my hopes up. Because every time I get my hopes up with this team, they just let me down. So, guys, that's what we have right now. We're all caught up in the chat. So let's go through everything that we still have here going on today on Tino's time and this week. And then I'm going to say goodbye if we don't have any more comments. But guys, if you want and you're busy right now, come back tonight, ask me more questions. We'll be live 6:45 to watch Dynamite and NXT. So let's go over everything that we have. But first, we got another question. Should I trade Hurts and Lockett for Diggs and Dak? Oh, see, Jack, I don't know, because I don't know if I could give up Diggs. Diggs is so reliable to the point where Tyler Lockett isn't. Or I'm sorry. Oh, you would be getting Diggs. But the problem with that is then you'd be losing Hurts. So I don't know. Hurts is, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I would go, Jack. Is Alec Pierce still available on your waiver wire? I would definitely go put him. I would definitely go put a waiver claim if he's still available because he's number one option for Matt Ryan. It seems he got a touchdown, and so I think that he is. I think that yeah, my backup is Geno. Yeah, I mean I don't think you give up Hurts because I don't know if I have to start Geno as a quarterback because I have to because it sucks because that just what I'm stuck in a league that I have no quarterback options and yeah. So I think that it's a very good out. So yeah. But Jack, I think that you do not accept that trade because you can't get rid of Jalen Hurts. So guys, we got more people joining us. Continue to leave your comments. Let's go over everything that we have. We'll go over everything that's going to go down tonight on NXT and Dynamite, and then we'll go over what's going to happen the rest of the week. Tonight, guys, on NXT, we got ourselves a 6-man tag team match. We got the OC Too Sweet showing up on Tuesday night. They're teaming up with Take Me to the Moon and Back, Cameron Grimes. They going up against Dyad and Schism. That should be interesting. We got Alba Fire going up against Sonia Deville. Sonia Deville and Alba Fire going head to head. When are we going to see Mandy Rose return? We're only 5 short days away until Halloween Havoc. Then pick your poison. We're going to see Roxanne versus Rhea. We're going to see Cora versus Raquel. And then Saturday, we're going to see an all-weapons match, I think it's called, or all-weapons. I don't know exactly what it's called, guys. But pick your poison is the night. Who's winning? Who we got? And then Tony Stacks. Who's Tony Stacks going to pick? Who's Tony D'Angelo going to pick to face Tony Stacks, I should say. So that's NXT. We should see some more hype up for Halloween Havoc as that is this Saturday. But that's not it, guys. As we have, like I said, AEW Dynamite. It's a special Tuesday night Dynamite as we see Jon Moxley, the AEW champion, going up against Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship. We got Tony Storm going up against Shida for the AEW Interim Women's Championship. We have Chris Jericho, La Champion, going up against Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor World Championship. We have a Trios World Championship match. It's Death Triangle versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. Can Orange Cassidy become 2 belts orange and be walking out with the Trios and the All-Atlantic Championship? Renee Paquette is going to sit down with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. What are they going to say? We got MJF, the devil himself. We hear from him. Hell yeah. And then, guys, as our favorite, War Games favorite, I don't know who's going to say it this year, but William Regal is going to sit down with Tony Schiavone, and they're going to have a little conversation. I really want to know who's going to say War Games this year. Should be a good one. Sonia Deville also fights Liv Morgan. Yes, she does. Sonia Deville playing double duty this week. I don't think we get Mandy versus Alba. I think, we are getting that. It's official for the pay-per-view for Halloween Havoc. Yeah, no, her family is grieving and everything, but I mean, I think that I guess we'll just have to see. I guess we'll see what happens if she shows up here tonight. But I think she will. I think that she'll compete. And if she doesn't, then I completely understand. And obviously, it is what it is. And, it's hard. I get it. So, guys, I appreciate everybody coming here, hanging out with your boy Tino, as we talked everything that went down in week 6 of the fantasy football and the NFL football season. We previewed week 7. Guys, that's all I have for you here for the fantasy football. We're done with part 1 here on Tino's Time. We'll be back here, like I said, at 6:45 to watch NXT and watch Dynamite. So, guys, have yourselves a good afternoon. See you all tonight for NXT and Dynamite as we watch the MLB playoffs. Guardians and Yankees starting in about 20 minutes. We're going to go watch that. We're going to see who makes it to the ALCS. Hopefully there's no rain because I can't deal with the rain, guys. I'm over it, especially here in Chicago. Chi-Town, the Windy City, loves rain. We love snow. We love it all. I'm not looking forward to that white stuff coming down in the sky, though. Not at all. So, everybody, have yourselves a good evening, and I'll see you guys all here on Tino's Time at 6:45 tonight as we watch AEW Dynamite and NXT both on same time as we go And we do it like we used to do in the COVID era when your boy Tino wasn't doing live streams. But if you missed me and you want to hear more of me and you miss my voice and you want to you want to listen to me until 6 o'clock, 6:45, go follow all the social medias. Go follow Tino's Time Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. Go follow Tino's Time 1996 on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram for all your Facebook or all your baseball and fantasy football needs. Everybody, go hit that like button. Join the raffle. We're on the road to 500. We hit 400. Thank you, Tino Nation. Again, I think we're at like 405 now. So everybody continue to hit that like button. Continue to subscribe. Turn that notification button on so then you know when we go live for part 2 of the doubleheader in 5 short hours. So guys, until 6:45 tonight, and we get ready to watch 2 great shows of wrestling, 2 hours of wrestling, and then we talk some baseball. This is your boy Tino, signing out.